So I was fixing to take a video showing you how to find a place to sleep at night, and I heard a weird noise, and I came over here and looked, and that ain't spinning like it's supposed to. So that's something to figure out. So one of the options is something like this. This is a shopping mall, and you see there's a car over there. They've got their lights on. Something that you can do whenever you're picking out a spot is look around and see how many cars are already parked there overnight. When you're picking out your spot, you want to be able to look in certain areas, and you want to have lots of options to look around through. You don't want to have to hunt something down whenever you really need to go to bed at night. You see these cars right here? This restaurant will probably be open late, and so you're not very likely to be bothered. Here's an Advanced Auto Parts, Midas shopping center. You've got these two cars here, and you've got one over there. I would probably consider parking somewhere in here, or maybe back up maybe 3 spots away from that car where you're kind of in the dark. Thing about being in the dark though is you're more likely in certain areas to have somebody try to break in. So you have to consider if they break in, like, am I going to be able to protect myself? Am I in a good area where I can? If you're flying below the radar, you are potentially vulnerable. That's just something to consider. Doesn't matter who you are. So something else I would consider is Waffle House. And if you find one and you park on the corner a little ways away from the restaurant, they're not going to, it's not like they're going to knock on your door and see if you're in there. They're probably going to assume you're inside eating some food. It's a nice thing about 24-hour restaurants. Planet Fitness is always an option, especially the ones that are 24/7, because they expect cars to be there all night. Anywhere where there's industrial vehicles, just about, you can park. The main thing to note if you're trying to find parking in an area where you see industrial vehicles is look on these light poles here and ask yourself if there's a sign there that says no overnight parking. If you don't see a sign saying no overnight parking, odds are you can park there like these rigs. These rigs know what they're doing. They've probably been parking here for ages. That is a sweet rig. Look at that. It's bagged out too. He let the air out of it, and he's got the front grill on the ground. That is cool. You see how there's the American thrift store over there? So there's this whole shopping mall in here. There's no way that all of these cars are going to be gone after midnight. There's still going to be plenty of cars here. You could blend right in here in a Walmart parking lot. Walmarts are always an option, almost always an option. Just got to check the telephone poles. Like you see this telephone pole right here. There's nothing on it saying no overnight parking. See, all the way up. You're good to go. So I'm taking us out of town a little bit, but those are 2 hotels that are big. They have lots of parking, right? 3, there's a 3rd one. So they have lots of parking. So places that have lots of parking and there's already a lot of cars there, I would park at a hotel room every once in a while. Here's another hotel, right? Basically making note of all the different places that you can go. That way you're never ever without a spot that you can park at. Look right here. I'm gonna show you something right here. I would say to check out warehouse type businesses like this. And on the weekend, a lot of times they don't have anybody working there. So on the weekend, you might could park at some place like this that's a business, especially if there's already cars there and you're not overstaying your welcome. Here's another one. Look, there's an old van back there. It's messed up. You could probably hide back there. And I've found a lot of places to hide over my years. Trust me, I found a lot of places to hide. My van's all messy, so I got stuff falling around in here. Look, here's a good area. I would even park somewhere like here, or back your vehicle into here, but just make sure that you don't get blocked in by a truck. And also be conscientious when you're finding spots to park. Don't park somewhere that a semi truck can park, because I can tell you firsthand, we already have a very hard time finding parking. So I'm showing you another spot over here that you can park. You don't want a place that's too well lit and too high traffic, and you want a place that where all the cops don't hang out, so you can enjoy a doobie at night if you want. So we're gonna keep going. We're gonna get a little further into the country, but you got to keep in mind, sometimes the further in the country, the more spots you find, or the better spots you find, but there's less cars. So when there's less cars, as you get further in the country, you become more conspicuous. You want to be incognito. You want to be a place where there's like a lot of cars around you, so you don't stand out. But some of the places in the country are pretty quiet. You don't have the street lights, you don't have ambulance and all this ruckus. But I've been parking in places inside of the city in a semi-truck for years, and after a while you get used to it. You just pretend you're somebody who lives in New York. So you see back there behind McDonald's, there's a semi-truck back there. Here's more trucks. You can probably park in the parking lot of Jack's where the cars park and stay the night. Look, trucks. There's a car right there parked over there. You can park someplace like that. Look, I wonder if there's a parking spot back here. This is the kind of thing you can do with all the money you're saving by not paying rent. When you're not paying rent, you can spend a little money on fuel. You can run around and kind of explore stuff and check stuff out, see if you can find somewhere to hide out, sleep for the night. And the more often that you do it, the better you're gonna get. You're gonna get where you have the whole city or town that you work out of mapped out in your head, and you know right where you can go, and you know what nights you can go. You're just used to it. The way that I've learned how to do the things that I do is just doing it again and again, and every time something upsets what I'm trying to do, I just try something else. Look, what I would do in the day is I would check this field out, and if it was not a marsh and if the ground was hard, I would drive out there in the night and hide in some trees. But I would map it out in the day or on a weekend and when there's nobody around, and I would just figure it out. I've done that a lot. You find a field. This one field I park at all the time, well, I can't say the company that owns it, but I checked into it and used an app to figure out who owned the field, and it was a company that was local here, and I still use that spot sometimes. We're gonna take a loop and head back into town, and when I get parked, I'm gonna show you an app that I use to also find parking. I found a good little area to duck off and sleep for the night. Van there, Jeep over there. There's cars over here. It looks like this area is kind of run down. May have used to have been a scrapyard. I would scope it out in the day though and see how many people are coming and going in the day. See, I'd scope this out. This looks like it could be a perfect area. You know what I mean? Noted, right? Like, do they just leave cars there all the time? Can I blend in? Are they gonna notice me if I'm parked there? What time do they open? If they open at 11 p.m., you probably done gone to work if you have a day job. If you have a night jobs can be good too, depending on your area, because night jobs, you work all night, and in the day when cars are all coming and going, you can sleep in your car or in your van or whatever you got, your truck or whatever. Here's a church. There's cars there at the church, right? You can park at churches sometimes, especially if there's nobody there through the week, or there's a few cars that are left there. Sometimes you can park at churches. Here's a bar. Looks like someone left a whole trailer here. And see, the bar, there's going to be cars that are left here because there's going to be people that get taxis and Ubers home. You could stay at a bar. You could sleep the night if it wasn't too loud. Like right now, it's pretty quiet. The bar isn't playing music too loud. You could park somewhere over here, like behind this car or something like that, and just put your vehicle where your windshield is facing that direction, and you could just sleep in your vehicle. Because people are going to be coming and going. I mean, if they're a little loud, who cares? You're saving money. So another really good place to park is at truck stops. And there's this app. Here is what it looks like, if it'll focus. There we go. This is the app. This is what it looks like on the inside. The interface looks like. Okay, so there's apps like Trucker Path that'll allow you to find a truck stop near you, and a lot of people use truck stops to sleep, and most of them haul freight. Now, there are people like this car next to me. That car right there has someone sleeping in it. You see there's vehicles like that. That's Load 1 over there, and they haul expedited freight. To the left of that Load 1 truck or van is a camper van. Another thing you can do is you can look up local fishing areas. So a lot of the fishing spots and fishing pads are on public land. They're on land that you could stay the night. Now some of them, they don't want you there after dark, but it's not really enforced, because as long as there's not any trouble there and there's not anybody ruin it for everybody else, they're not going to really bother you. I have been bothered before by cops, and they would knock on the door or something, the driver's side door. I opened the back door. I said, "Hey, I'm back here." And they walked around. They're like, "Okay, well, just checking." I was like, "Yeah, I was tired. I just wanted to go to sleep." And as long as you're conscientious, when you first go into something like this, don't be overly comfortable. Understand that you have a lot to learn, and you need to be on guard and be aware of your surroundings. So I'd be very careful about how you do things. Another option is renting out a storage unit. So what you do is you rent out a storage place for you to park, and you find one that's gated, and you ask, when you call in, you say, "Hey, what are the hours that I can access it?" They tell you, 7 to 9. Well, you don't tell them this, but in your mind you're like, well, I don't really want something that cuts off at 9. Or maybe they lock the gate at 9 where you know, after 9 p.m. you can't get in, but you know that you're going to get off work before they lock the gate, so you just have to be there before 9 to get into your, and you just rent out a place to park a vehicle, and you just go there at night, and then you just leave in the morning. That's one option. And sometimes there's storage places where the owner doesn't stay there on site. They don't like go there. They're like self-storage places, and those are the best. The places that there's no person like to interact with you, those are the best ones. And you can pay as little as $50 a month depending on the unit, and $50 a month for a place to park every night that's gated, that can be a beneficial place to park. And I guess the last one is TVA land. So TVA land is government owned land, and like where I'm at is Tennessee Valley Authority, and there's also BLM land, Bureau of Land Management. You can park at those places too. Another one, you can go to freecampsites.net, finding places to park near you. You can search on here. It's an older app, so it's not like really a great interface, but freecampsites.net is a useful tool.